the charge to vacate Speaker Boehner. He says moving the leadership, quote, up one notch shows the party is, quote, tone deaf. You've been Speaker Boehner's number 2 for years. Specifically, what will be different under Speaker McCarthy?
Well, it's a generational shift. And the one thing, how I deal with it, is bottom up. I don't view myself as a team manager, but a team captain. I'm part of the team, but everybody else as well. You know, when you get beyond the Beltway and you listen to what's going on, this is time that we've got to bring back that we are closer to who we represent, that they feel that this is their government, that they're in charge, and that we're here to serve them.
So tangibly, what would that mean, though? Would that mean putting a spending bill on the president's desk that defunds Planned Parenthood, even though the president's going to veto it? Is that the tangible?
Why wouldn't we challenge him? To get it to the president's desk, would you first start with a select committee to win the argument, then win the vote? There's so many things to do, but it's more bottom up. Have the committees do more of the work, have everybody engaged in the process, have more of the regular order. I think that's a healthier way for the House to work, but everybody has a say, everybody has a voice, because everyone that comes to the House had about 750,000 people they're representing, and you want those voices heard.
Right, but you would be working with the Majority Leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell. He called the defunding Planned Parenthood idea an exercise in futility. So before you get through the obstruction that is President Obama, you have to get through the obstruction that is Mitch McConnell.
Well, no, what you first have to do is lay out a plan. I'm willing to fight, but I want to fight to win. So it's not just a policy, it's also a media, and people have to join that. So that's why within a select committee, think of this. When you look at the poll numbers of Hillary Clinton, they've dropped.
Right.
Unfavorable is pretty high, because people say they don't trust her. They don't trust her because what they found out about the server and everything else. Would you have ever found that out had you not gathered the information from the Benghazi Select Committee? So if we really want to be able to show what this Planned Parenthood has done, you see a few videos, so there's real question. Have the Select Committee get all the information, all the hearings, so the public can see that. So that's what you win the argument to win the vote.
Speaking of votes, do you have the votes? Will you be the next speaker? Have you locked it up?
I feel very good about where I'm at.
That sounds like a yes, that you have the votes.
I feel very good where I'm at.
You've committed to no government shutdowns. Are you similarly committed to no defaulting on the debt? And how do you deal with the part of your party, House Republicans, who want these showdowns, who want to shut down the government?
What people want to have is a change of Washington. Too many people in Washington care about power institutions, not caring about changing the lives of everyday Americans. So what you want to have is, you don't want to have a cliff, you want to make that argument ahead of time. Make your case and put your ideas and your bill forward.
But then the president vetoes it, and then you have another bill ready to go?
You know, welfare reform got vetoed a few times, didn't it? And then the president, after he signed it, claimed it was a great bill and helped transform this country, put us on a better path. It's not a problem to send a bill to the White House a couple times.
In terms of your personal priorities, your district in California is 35% Latino, and you have, as a lawmaker, a more moderate position on immigration reform than many of your colleagues. How important is the Latino vote to your party taking the White House next year?
Latino vote, the Asian vote, all the votes are important. This is a microcosm of America, and we have to be able to expand. But that does not mean that you shouldn't have your borders secure. What it means from a perspective, if you want to reach out to people, you treat everybody as an American. You talk about how it changes the average American's lives every day, be it the economy, education. Those are the things that you actually bring the party stronger in.
But you have talked about a path to legal status for illegal immigrants.
I'm opposed to amnesty because we are a country of a rule of law. And if you break society down where a new generation comes in breaking the law, you'll break society. So you have to start with a secure border. Our border is broken. 51% of everyone that's here illegally came here legally on a visa. We have to change the visa program. So there's a lot of things you can do within immigration to make it, and I believe America is a melting pot, but we want to make sure that we do it right.
Senator Ted Cruz has had a lot of influence when it comes to the conservatives in your caucus. Speaker Boehner famously called him a jackass. How would you describe Senator Cruz and the role he plays with House Republicans?
Well, I'll tell you this. I believe in Reagan's 11th commandment. I don't speak ill of anybody. Ted Cruz is a friend of mine. He's a senator. I talked to Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is healthy for this party just as every other Republican is healthy for this party. And I want more people to be part of the Republican Party. You know what's interesting? Today, we're looking too much and dividing about what type of Republican you are. When Reagan ran, we talked about the Reagan Democrats. So we want everybody to be a part. We want to be inclusive. That's going to be a fundamental difference of a change. Look, a speaker sets a culture in the House. And the culture you're going to have is bottom up and everybody gets the voice.
How do you make the case that you, who has been part of the Republican leadership for years and been the number 2 for a year and a half, how do you make the case that you represent a change other than generationally?
Because we don't get elected as a ticket. It's individual. If you come back here and you watched where I came from, right? I came in '06. Paul Ryan and I and Eric Cantor created Young Guns. I went out recruiting candidates, different than Washington had looked like, to elect new people and get a majority. I have fought hard for that. Look at my background. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a poli-sci degree. I started my first business when I was 19. You know the values you learn when you're a small business owner? You're the first one to work, you're the last one to leave, and you're the last one to be paid. So you know what? I want somebody in Washington looking out for me, and that's the person I look out for.
Conservative radio host Mark Levin said the following about you. Quote, Kevin McCarthy is Eric Cantor with 10 less IQ points, and he added that you're, quote, not a principled conservative. Now, you're going to be hearing that kind of rhetoric from the conservative media wing for as long as you are seeking the seat or hold this seat. Is it just water off a duck's back? How do you deal with it?
Well, you know what? Give me time. It won't change in one day, but my mission is to change the culture of Washington, and that's part of the job. Give me a moment to show if I can govern, and then you could come back and judge whether I've done well or not.